G'day mates, this is the day after the New Hampshire primary, first in the nation, so we have results. That's pretty cool. So here we have decision desk. Here's the map for New Hampshire per township. So each individual township doesn't really have a lot of votes, but together you combine everything and you get like a few 100,000 votes. So for an example, we have here Lyman 200 votes, Trump with 60%. So there are some townships that haven't yet voted, or well, they have voted but it is not counted yet. So there's where we are. There are also some townships that haven't had everything counted, and I'm going to search for one. I believe one in this particular region is not yet counted. Whatever, point still stands, right? So there are some townships that haven't had everything counted yet, and they could swing either way. So at the moment we have 95% counted. Trump wins by 35,000 votes, and there are roughly, if you want to do it accurately, let's do it like this. So those are the amount of votes for 95% reporting. So we do that. So there's roughly 16,000 votes left to count. Easy, right? 16,000. Nikki Haley isn't getting close. So that's where we are right now. Democrats, they're also almost finished counting. And here's the funny thing about it. We also see that the turnout for Republicans is about 200,000 votes higher. That is not conform to registry in the state. And the reason for it is there have been a hell of a lot of Democrats that voted in the Republican primary. Hence why Nikki Haley's at 40%. So, in a minute we'll do the comparison for the prediction that I did earlier on. But there are also a few other races down here. And I'll pull up the map here as well. So we have Coos special election for the 1st district. There are 2 representatives in this district. One is vacant. Troy Murner, Republican, he resigned. And the other one is James Tierney. He is still in there, is also a Republican. And here we have the special election. Republican has won. Why do I say that? 95% is counted, so that's 100 votes. Well, that's above the margin of error. So this district should have been called already. So that is an additional Republican. Now we have the 6th district, which is currently vacant. It only has 1 representative. And in the case of New Hampshire, you should note that each district can have multiple representatives. So the 5th. So now we have the 6th district. William Hatch. He's a Democrat. He resigned, and it's called Republican as 1. So that's a flip. Then we have the Stratford 11th district. So let's scroll down to Stratford, because I have the Wikipedia page on the side here. 3 representatives in this district. 2 of them are Democrats, Thomas Southworth and Janet Wall. The 3rd one is Hoy Manier, and she died a few months ago. So that's a Democrat in this district. So we have the race remarkably close in this one. Let's see if it's outside of the margin of error. 1309. Well, it's more than 99% counted, so we're probably going to believe there's not going to be additional votes. But let's say that there is. So that's 13 votes, supposedly. That's outside of the margin of error. So we can say that Eric Johnson is projected to be the winner, but there has to be a recount, because it's this close. Joseph Bezos won the Republican primary, so there's going to be an election later down the line. I don't know when it is for the general election for this particular seat, but there's going to be an additional election. Then finally we have Rockingham 21st district, which is 1 representative. Democrat Robin Vogt, she resigned, or he, whatever. Robin is a name that can be used for both men and women. Democrat district, well, there's only 7% counted, so we can't really project the winner. Anyway, there isn't a Republican in this race, so it's going to be a Democrat regardless. So what we have is a net 1 flip. So one Republican, and this is uncounted Democrat. Okay, so here's the lookout in the New Hampshire House of Representatives. A maximum seat of 400 representatives, with the two that have won, so with the Coos district, the 1st and the 6th. Republicans now have exactly 200. Democrats have 195. With Rockingham, that will become 196. This district, well, it's a flip, or a swing essentially. Whoever wins, we don't know yet. And there are 3 independents. So the Republicans have a 3-seat majority in the House of Representatives in New Hampshire. That's the election results as of now. So then I picked all the votes, and since the Green Papers doesn't really have a lot, so I took the most reliable and non-partisan source that you can find. That's Wikipedia. These are the results essentially, what they have written down, but this is at 95%, so we don't know yet how it's going to look like. So my prediction, the actual results, and the error rate in between. So basically everything is within the margin of error, and I set a margin of error of 5%, because that's the least accurate poll that I have. So basically everything is spot on, except for Trump and Haley. And this was purely a differential based upon how many independents voted, aka Democrats. So, filling this in, that would mean 9.6 at the moment, but this is still more votes to be counted, so it could be that this comes below 9.5, in which case she gets 9 delegates and Trump gets 13 instead of 10 to 12. So you have to keep that into account. Trump is at 12. There's not going to be enough votes to get him to 13, except for when it is a rounding delegate. Keep that in mind. So essentially, yeah, I would say spot on. So what does this do for the delegate map? Well, we have New Hampshire. Trump is guaranteed 12. Haley's guaranteed 9. And the rounding delegate can be either way. Now, for now, I'm going to say that goes to Trump. And I can show you that, because at the moment we have this. And that's the wrong program. I should have just kept my calculator open. So, the way you do it is the vote share times the delegates, and you round it down, so that's 12. Now you have the vote share for Haley, that's 9.5. There's still about 20,000 votes to be counted, and if, let's say, 60% of them goes to Trump, this number is going to go below 9.5, in which case it becomes 9 delegates and then hands to Trump. Now I think, when it comes to these districts, a lot of them that have already been completed in their counting are districts that went to Haley. So here I found coincidentally 2. So in this particular case, let's assume that it performs proportionally. So there's about 10% of the votes, 70 votes left to count. So 50% would go to Haley, 47 would go to Trump, so the lead isn't really expanding. But if we go to further districts down south, here's an example. That difference would have already been made up. So I'm going to give the rounding delegate to Trump. At the moment, it can change later down the line, but New Hampshire apparently takes a week to count votes. That's a problem. So, at the moment, 33 delegates for Trump, 17 for Haley, and that's basically it. So, the next contest is, I believe, Nevada. So you have South Carolina, that's the 3rd for the Democrats, but Nevada is the 8th of February for the Republicans, as is the Virgin Islands. Republicans have South Carolina at the end of February. So there's a change. This is something that the media doesn't really want to tell you. Okay, so having said that, I don't think there's anything else to mention. Once again, spot on proposition regarding my prediction. One delegate off at the moment. So, we're done. Next video is coming up. This is about the bribery story regarding Arizona. That's going to be a fun one. Thank you for watching. See you later.